Hi, it's Future. I'm going to be showing you how to draft circle skirt patterns. So we'll be drafting a full circle skirt pattern, half circle skirt pattern, 3/4 circle skirt pattern, and a quarter circle skirt pattern. So this is how our circle skirt looks like when it's laid flat on the table. So it's got a small inner circle which represents our waist, and it's got an outer bigger circle which represents our skirt hem. I've just drawn a bigger illustration here to represent this little circle that we have here. So what we are interested in looking for is the radius, because the radius is the one that's gonna give us the exact waist measurement for our specific circle skirt. Okay, so to get the radius, we've got this mathematical equation that we use. It's C is equals to 2 pi r, of which C is the circumference. In our case, the circumference we're going to be using is our waist measurement. Okay, so now to get the radius, we're going to divide both sides by 2 pi. Okay, so 2 pi over 2 pi. So our radius is equals to C over 2 pi, of which C is our waist measurement, over 2 pi. So in mathematics, pi represents the number 3.14. So we're going to replace the pi with 3.14 and we multiply it by 2 to get our full circle radius. Okay, so that will be waist over 2 multiplied by 3.14, which will give us waist over 6.28. Okay, so that's the radius for the full circle skirts. Okay, now to make life easy for myself, I'll just make sure that I remember 6.28 for the full circle skirts, and this is what I'm gonna use to get all the other values for the half circle skirt, quarter circle skirt, and 3/4 circle skirt. So what I do is, for the half circle skirt, I just say half of 6.28 and I divide my waist with 3.14, which is half of 6.28. Okay, then for the quarter circle skirt, I just get a quarter of 6.28, which is 1.57. So to get quarter circle skirt radius, I just say waist divided by 1.57. Then I do the same with the 3/4 circle skirt. I just say 3/4 of 6.28, which is 4.71. And then the 3/4 circle skirt radius is waist divided by 4.71. I hope this is clear to you guys. So when you're making circle skirts, you only need 2 measurements, which is your waist measurement and your skirt length. So for these examples, I'm gonna be using a waist measurement of 60 centimeters and a skirt length of 50 centimeters. Okay, so we're going to be starting with the full circle skirt. So I just divided the waist measurement by 6.28 and I've got 10 centimeters for the radius. So we're gonna start with that now. So first, get a fresh pattern paper and make sure to leave about 5 centimeters for your seam allowances and just draw a straight line. Square another line on this other end, making sure to leave your seam allowance as well. Measure from this point here, going this way for our radius. For my full circle skirt, my radius is 10 centimeters. So I'm just going to put 10 centimeters and put a mark. Then what we're going to be doing is to go from this point. We're going to be pivoting our ruler around, measuring 10 centimeters all the way until we get to this line here. Now get your curved ruler and just connect these points together. So this is our radius from this point to this point. Okay, now from this point, you're going to put in your skirt length from this point going this way. So I'm going to be using 50 centimeters and I'm just gonna measure that and put them out. Now we're going to be pivoting our ruler following this curved line here, just measuring 50 centimeters all the way around until we get to this line. Next, join these points together with a curved ruler as well. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add a seam allowance to the top here, 1 centimeter, and a hem allowance 1 centimeter to the bottom of my skirt. So now on this side here, we're going to put our seam allowance. I use 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. Now adding notches to my pattern and labeling the pattern. Full circle skirt. Part 2 unfold, and I put my initial. So this part here is going to be unfold, and this can represent our center front or center back. And this is going to be our side seam. And along the side seam, we're going to measure 18 centimeters from this seam here going down for our zipper notch. Go a further 1 centimeter and put another notch. And I'm gonna add my grain line parallel to the center front and center back. Next, cut around the pattern. Now, one thing we need to remember with our circle skirt patterns is that they are mostly cut on bias. So what this means is that they tend to stretch a little bit at the waistline here. So we don't need to deduct anything when we are making skirts, because remember, with our waistband pattern, we are going to add 2 to 2.5 centimeters each to it to just allow us to wear our skirt comfortably. So that is just going to match with our waistband, and that works well like that. But let's say you want to attach your skirt to a bodice to make a skater dress or a peplum top, you will need to deduct that 2.5 centimeters off your bodice and then calculate your radius with that amount taken away. Okay, I hope you understand. So the full circle skirt pattern is finished. Now we're moving on to making a half circle skirt pattern. First, draw the guidelines like we did with the full circle skirt first. So from this point, we're going to be putting in our radius for the half circle skirt. So we're going to be using this formula, waist measurement divided by 3.14. Mine is 19.10, and I'm going to round it off to 19 centimeters. So let's put it in, pivoting from this point, going all the way around until we get here like we did with the full circle skirts. Now adding our skirt length from here, 50 centimeters all around. Next, we're going to add our seam allowance for the waist, 1 centimeter, and our hem allowance, 1 centimeter. So this is going to be my center back or center front, depending with the style of your skirt. We're going to put our seam allowance on this side here, because this is just going to be one piece cut on fold. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just add our seam allowance here, which is 1.5 centimeters for me. And we're going to go ahead and measure for our zipper notches 18 centimeters from this seam here, our waist seam. Go a further 1 centimeter and add another notch. And this part is going to be on fold. Leveling our pattern, half circle skirt. Cut one on fold. And I'm gonna add the grain line parallel to the center back or center front. Cut around your pattern. And our half circle skirt pattern is finished. Now we're moving on to making the 3/4 circle skirt pattern. For the 3/4 circle skirt pattern, you will need a folded pattern paper with the length equivalent to your radius plus your skirt length plus your hem allowance, okay? So first we're just going to draw one guideline along this side here. So we're just going to start pivoting from the corner here of our folded side and this line here, okay? And just put in our radius. So to get the radius for the 3/4 circle skirt, it's waist divided by 4.71. So mine is 12.73 centimeters, and I'm just gonna round it off to 13 centimeters, okay? Let's do that. Next, we're putting in our skirt length from this line here going all the way round. Next, we're going to go ahead and add our hem allowance 1 centimeter and seam allowance for the waist 1 centimeter. Now we're going to go ahead and add a seam allowance to this side here, 1.5 centimeters for me. And I'm going to add a zipper notch, 18 centimeters down from the waistline. Go a further 1 centimeter, put another notch. Now cut around your pattern. Now open your pattern. Now you will notice that we've got a half circle skirt, and what we need is a 3/4 circle skirt. So what we're going to do is to fold this back again, get a fresh pattern paper, and we're going to go ahead and trace around this pattern paper to get the other missing quarter. So I'm just gonna get my pins and just pin this onto this pattern paper below so that nothing moves. Now cut around your pattern. Okay, now so as you can see, we've got our half circle skirt and the other 1/4 circle skirt that we cut. So we're going to go ahead and outline our seam allowance on this side, which is 1.5 centimeters. That's what I used. Then we are gonna get our 1/4 circle skirts And we're going to go ahead and put it right here next to the seam allowance and tape it down. Then we're going to go ahead and outline the seam allowance on this side as well. 1.5 centimeters. Then adding notches to the pattern and zipper notches as well. 18 centimeters down from this seam notch and down a further 1 centimeter. So labeling the pattern, 3/4 circle skirt pattern, cut 1. So that's our 3/4 circle skirt pattern finished. Now we're moving on to the 1/4 circle skirt pattern. So finally we're moving on to the 1/4 circle skirt, and we're going to draw on our guidelines first as usual. So to get the radius for the 1/4 circle skirt, you're going to divide your waist measurement by 1.57. So mine is 38 centimeters. So I'm just going to pivot from this point right around 38 centimeters until I get to here. Let's do that. Then we're going to be measuring for our skirt length from this line, 50 centimeters right round until we get to here. Now we're going to go ahead and add a seam allowance to the waistline and a seam allowance to the bottom part here again. Let's do that. Now we're gonna go ahead and add a seam allowance on this side and on this side as well, 1.5 centimeter seam allowances. Then we're going to add our zipper notches to both sides, 18 centimeters down from this seam line here for the waist. Cut around the pattern. Now for the 1/4 circle skirt pattern, we prefer to have the grain line go along the bias. So what we're going to do is to go ahead and grab one end of your pattern paper and bring it to the other end. Mesh them nicely and make a crease in the middle. Open your pattern again. Now draw in your grain line along the crease line. So 1/4 circle skirt patterns are mainly used in kids clothing because there are a lot of fit issues with them, especially if you've got a small waist and a big bottom. Chances are that you won't be able to get into your skirt or to pull your skirt up. So what's normally done is to add 5 centimeters to the waist measurement. So this will counteract that discrepancy, and this is taken out as darts from the waistline. Okay, so we finished making all our patterns: 1/4 circle skirt, half circle skirt, 3/4 circle skirt, and a full circle skirt pattern. Thank you.